Hello and welcome to Very Hard Questions, the quiz contest that unsurprisingly asks the very hardest questions on television. I'm always asking myself very hard questions like, why doesn't glue stick to the inside of the bottle? We've assembled some of the very brightest brains in Britain to do battle in the very hardest of quizzing competitions. The more points our teams can score, the greater their chance of winning a place in the grand final, where the victors will walk away with a £5,000 prize, this magnificent trophy, and the crown of Very Hard Questions Series champion. Playing today are Annette, Lawrence and Carol. They are Knowledge is Power, and their opponents are Josh, Howell and Will, also known as We Three Kings. We tossed a coin backstage and Knowledge is Power. You will go first. Welcome to the show. Is your knowledge power? Is your power knowledge?
We hope so. We'll soon find out.
Well, and where does the team name come from?
Well, the power part, we worked in the energy efficiency business. We all worked together a number of years ago for quite a long time.
You're a team that do a lot of quizzing online.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do, yes.
Well, how does it work exactly?
Well, we live 220 miles away from each other, so, so online is the only way we do it now.
Yes.
How do you know you're not cheating?
With trust. Integrity.
Yes.
Integrity. Well, great to meet you today. Best of luck. It's time to meet today's challengers. Welcome to the show, We Three Kings. I'm guessing you're not royalty, so what sort of kings are you?
We all met at King's College, Cambridge, which is what we have in common.
And what did you all study at Cambridge, Josh?
I studied engineering.
Howell, what did you read?
I study engineering.
OK, Will?
So continuing the theme, I studied engineering, so nice broad background to the team.
So that's what brought you all together, engineering. Brilliant. Josh, I think you have a special skill too?
I can recite pi to 18 decimal places.
Crumbs. Can you show us?
Sure, it's 3.1415926535897932338.
I have absolutely no idea of what that means or indeed whether it's right, but I'm sure it is because you seem so convincing. It's great to meet you all. Let's play Very Hard Questions. Now, in round one, each team will answer 4 very hard questions, but to help, you have 7 clues to use across the round. First letter gives you the first letter of the first word of the answer. Picture clue offers up a visual cryptic clue. Extra fact gives you more information about the answer. Definition is a dictionary-style description of the answer. Add words inserts more information into the question itself. Different question shows you another question with the same answer. And related words, which are 3 words, all connected to the answer. But every time a clue is used, it'll cost you a point, and you won't be able to use it again in the round. Knowledge is power. If you're ready, here's your first very hard question. The horse that won the 2002 Irish Grand National takes its name from a scene in which film?
Right.
Yes.
I haven't
Do you
got
know?
an absolute. I just have not
I
a
know
clue.
nothing
And
about
it's-
horse
Don't
racing.
forget, it's the Irish
No.
Grand National, not the
Not
English,
the English
one.
national.
Extra words.
Extra words.
Yeah,
extra words.
We'd like add words, please.
Add words. Starring Michael Douglas.
Ah.
OK.
What
Right, which
films?
ones have
Michael
we got?
Douglas.
We've
The
got-
Wolf of Wall Street.
We've got Wall
No.
Street.
2002.
Yeah,
OK, what
just
about,
about the right time.
the one, they're thinking of the stone?
Hang on.
Oh, Romancing the Stone.
Yeah.
It's for
Oh,
3 points.
The Jewel of the Nile, Romancing the Stone. There was Black Rain. How many films he's done?
Well, there's loads. So you're going to have to take.
Loads.
You either take another
Romancing
clue
the
or
Stone is sounding familiar to me.
Do you want to take Romancing the Stone?
give it a go.
So
Come
do you wanna
on,
take
let's
one of
have a
them?
gamble.
We know nothing about horse racing. We don't know enough about his films. We're going to take a gamble and guess Romancing the Stone.
For 3 points, let's see if Romancing the Stone is the correct answer. I'm afraid it's incorrect. And what is the name of the film? The film is Fatal Attraction. The winning horse was the 12-to-1 shot, the Bunny Boiler. In the film, Glenn Close's character boils a pet rabbit, giving rise to the phrase Bunny Boiler to mean a scorned lover who acts vengefully. Right, well, bad luck. You scored no points. We Three Kings, let's have a look at your first very hard question. Noted for its pink colour caused by the Dunaliella salina algae, attracted by the salt content in it, Lake Retba is in which African country?
So we got any ideas?
I think I flew over this when I was returning from South Africa to Heathrow.
Do you remember your flight path?
You know I don't, but it lasted forever. I think we probably need an entirely separate way into this question.
And it's for 4 points,
Yeah.
but obviously if you use a clue, you're going to be down to 3.
The only thing I'm thinking is it's unlikely to be North Africa just because of the
How many
deserts
lakes?
around there. Yep.
I think we probably need one of the
We need a clue.
clues.
Extra fact.
Extra fact?
Because we've got quite good knowledge of African countries.
Yeah.
We'd like an extra fact clue, please, John.
Extra fact. The Gambia's only land border is with this country.
Yeah, it's Senegal. Yeah.
If you say so.
Senegal.
For 3 points, let's see if Senegal is the correct answer. Senegal. Congratulations. Senegal is the correct answer and scores you 3 points. Knowledge is power. Let's have a look at your second very hard question. Which author dedicated the first printing of their 4th novel to His Royal Highness the Prince Regent? This work is, by His Royal Highness's permission, most respectfully dedicated by His Royal Highness's dutiful and obedient humble servant. Quite a grovel.
Just a bit.
And I know I like literature, but
You're the
it's
literature
absurd.
expert.
Come on, it's because it's history as well as literature.
It's Victoria, isn't it?
So it's Victorian. Dickens. It's got to be Dickens.
Oh,
Has to
well,
be.
not necessarily.
Well, not necessarily, but that's
necessarily, but it's a possibility.
a possibility, yeah. We need another clue.
do.
100% we need another one.
So what do
6
we
clues
want?
to
Extra
choose
fact,
from.
different question, extra fact.
It'll cost you a point to use,
Yeah.
but you've
Extra
got
fact?
Yes.
Yeah, extra fact.
extra fact.
Extra fact, please,
please.
John.
The author made her dedication reluctantly after a suggestion by the Prince Regent's librarian.
Her.
Okay,
Well, that cuts
so-
it down to
be one of the Brontes.
one of the Brontes.
These are very hard, aren't they?
It's not called very hard questions for nothing.
Do you want something else? Do you want...
Yes.
Yes,
have
we have
another
to have
clue.
another
Do we
one.
need
Let's have
another
a
one?
little
We've
think.
got...
5 to choose from, but you're going to lose a point by
What do
using
we
it.
want? First
Yeah.
letter. Should we?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
First letter, please, John.
First letter. J.
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen.
Yeah.
I would go with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Jane Austen.
Yeah.
Jane Austen. We'd like to answer Jane Austen, please, John.
For 2 points, let's see if Jane Austen is the correct answer. Jane Austen, well done, well done. Austen was said to have disliked the Prince Regent, taking his wife's side after his reported infidelities. So the dedication in her 4th novel, Emma, was made under sufferance. Congratulations, and you score 2 points. We Three Kings, let's have a look at your second very hard question. Before entering politics, which former world leader, born in 1936, worked as a vacuum cleaner salesperson and as a singer on cruise ships?
Sounds American to me, that kind of background. for a
Yeah,
politician. Like
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan or something like that.
You
was
could
an
imagine
actor,
him,
wasn't he?
but he could have been a singer on cruise ships. That's,
He could have, yeah. Yeah. Could, yeah.
So-
I think Reagan's a nice idea, but I don't think we're
Well, we don't,
confident
yeah.
enough to go for it.
This is for 4 points. 6 clues left. If you use one, you will lose 1 point.
I think we're definitely going to use one. I'm just not
Yeah.
sure which.
Picture clue?
Be interesting to see what the picture clues are like.
Yeah, yeah.
Could we please have a picture clue?
Picture clue to see what it's like.
Okay.
That looks like it would be a stadium named after someone.
Yeah.
I don't recognise it.
No.
Looks kind of...
Oh, what's the writing on the bottom left?
Communist
Is that
or
Russian?
something.
Yeah. Is there...
Maybe it's
No,
not.
I
a
know, it's
stadium.
Ingresso. It says Ingresso. It says
Ah.
Berlusconi.
Ingresso, is that definitely Italian?
It
Not
is
like
Italian
Spanish?
for entrance. It might be Spanish as well.
I can imagine Silvio Berlusconi being a singer on a cruise ship.
Well, so he also owns AC Milan.
Is he? How old is he?
He's pretty old now, isn't he? He owns AC Milan, and that could be the San Siro.
I think we should go for it.
Gamble.
Yeah.
We would like to guess, without much certainty, that it's Silvio Berlusconi.
For 3 points, let's see if Berlusconi is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Silvio Berlusconi, well done. And it was fascinating to watch how you got there, because you went from nothing to everything.
Yeah.
Amazing. Berlusconi sold vacuum cleaners door to door, helping to fund his way through law school. He worked as a singer on cruise ships in the 1960s, and in more recent years he composed several albums. The picture you saw is of the San Siro Stadium, which is the home of AC Milan, the football club Berlusconi bought in 1986. Congratulations, We Three Kings. That scores you 3 points. We are at the halfway point of round one. Knowledge is Power are currently on 2 points, but We Three Kings have taken an early lead with 6 points. But there's everything still to play for after the break. Welcome back to Very Hard Questions, where both our teams are vying for a top 2 spot on the leaderboard and a place in the end of series final. Knowledge is Power. Let's have a look at your third very hard question. In August 2017, the Pantone Colour Institute announced that it had named a specific shade in honour of whom?
2017.
We want a clue.
Well, I think we do.
We need something else.
We'll take a picture then.
4 clues remaining, but if you use one, you'll lose
We'll
a
lose
point.
a
It'll be
point.
3 points.
OK, picture clue?
Picture clue.
Yes,
Picture
yeah.
clue, please, John.
Picture clue.
Oh,
Oh, well, that's the
yeah,
Princess Alexandra's husband, isn't it?
yeah.
Princess who?
The Duke
Alexandra?
of Kent.
The Duke of Kent?
Kent.
Kent. Duke of Kent. Royal.
2017, 65th anniversary of the Queen ascending to the throne. Is it in honour of the Queen?
We rushed into the first one. I think
Yeah,
we
we
should
did.
have...
We've still got 4.
4
I think
clues
we
and
would've
1
got to
question
the
left.
first
So,
one.
yeah, so take
Yeah.
another clue,
Do you
yeah.
want definition, different question, or related words?
Related words?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy with
Related
that, yeah.
words?
Probably be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take related words, please, John.
Related words. Revolution, Nelson, Paisley.
Paisley.
No, 1805.
It's Paisley College. Paisley's a pattern.
Paisley?
It's a place in Scotland.
It's a place in
It's a
Scotland.
pattern. It's, you know, it's a
Paisley
fabric
Green.
pattern.
I read this and I cannot remember.
Well, what we've said's not striking a chord.
No,
so that's
not at all. Not at all.
This is worth 2 points. Or you can choose another clue.
Do you have another clue?
Different question, definition.
Different question.
Different
Different
question.
question.
Different question, please, John.
Different question. Kristin Scott Thomas made her feature film debut in Under the Cherry Moon, directed by whom?
I haven't a clue.
Ridley Scott.
I have not got a clue.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. Let's go Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott.
For 1 point, let's see if Ridley Scott is the correct answer.
I think that's more to do with
Incorrect, I'm afraid. The correct answer is Prince.
Oh, Death of Prince.
The picture clue is of Prince Michael of Kent, the first cousin of Queen Elizabeth II. The shade of purple, named Love Symbol Number 2, after the symbol Prince once changed his name to, was developed in 2017 after the musician's death the previous year. Your related words, Revolution. The Revolution is the name of one of the bands Prince assembled. Nelson, his full name is Prince Rogers Nelson. And Paisley, Paisley Park, was Prince's home and studio near Minneapolis. Bad luck, knowledge is power. You don't score any points. We Three Kings, let's have a look at your third very hard question. Which television programme won the BAFTA for drama serial at the 1992 ceremony, after which, in a situation that was dubbed BAFTA-gate in the press, 4 of the 7 jury members stated publicly that they had voted for another series?
Cold Feet, is that kind of time? That
I
sort
think
of
it was a
thing.
bit later, but I'm not sure.
1992.
I think we need another substantial clue.
5 clues to choose from.
Totally
Use a
different.
clue and it'll take you down 1 point.
Different question.
Yeah, different question,
question
because it
related
could not be related to the...
It might be totally unrelated.
Yeah.
We'd like a different question, please, John.
Different question. In 1997, Robbie Coltrane reprised his role as Fitz from Cracker in a comic relief crossover parody alongside the star of which other television drama?
I think the one thing we take from that is that it's a television drama which has a singles star.
Probably, yeah.
I'm picking
Yeah.
at straws, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Clutching.
clutching.
Yeah.
You can use another clue, but it will take you down to 2 points.
I think definition, I can go for it.
Yeah.
We'd like a definition, please.
Definition. Drama series first broadcast in 1991, partly set in the fictional Southampton Row police station.
Is that The Bill? I don't know when that was first broadcast.
I say The Bill.
That could be,
It's
but-
that kind of area.
It is a drama serial, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Let's
worth
do-
2 points.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
We're going to clutch at the one straw we have and say the bill, please, John.
For 2 points, let's see if the bill is the correct answer. Incorrect, I'm sorry to say. The answer is prime suspect.
Oh, Helen Mirren.
Yes.
4 members of the jury stated they had voted for GBH, but their ballots were no longer available, so could not be checked. How handy. Bad luck, so no points then. Knowledge is power. Let's have a look at your final, very hard question of this round. In 1885, which ship was wrecked off the mainland of Haiti after it had been intentionally run aground in order to defraud an insurance company?
I haven't got a clue, so I can't contribute at all, I'm sorry.
You've got one clue, which is
Yeah,
definition.
We'll take the
We'll
one
take the
clue,
clue.
please, John.
Definition. Brigantine, built in 1861, that is noted for its 1870s voyage from New York, heading towards Genoa, carrying a cargo of barrels of alcohol.
What was the name of the...
Trin Comely, is it?
It could be anything.
Well, of course it
It's just
could.
a
Could be
name
any
of
name
a
of a
ship.
ship. You're going to have a guess.
I honestly can't remember.
OK. The Lord Nelson.
Yeah, go on.
Lord Nelson.
For 3 points, let's see if Lord Nelson is the correct answer.
The name of...
Incorrect, I'm afraid. The answer is Mary Celeste. In 1872, the Mary Celeste was discovered floating with nobody aboard, having been abandoned by Captain Benjamin Briggs and his crew. It was later deliberately run aground near Haiti by Gilman C. Parker as part of an insurance scam. Well, bad luck, knowledge is power. That was incorrect, and you didn't score any points. We Three Kings, let's have a look at your final, very hard question of this round. The modern rules of which sport introduced into the Olympic Games in 688 BCE were codified by John Graham Chambers and published by the Amateur Athletics Club in 1867.
So what I'm originally thinking is it could be boxing.
Or wrestling.
Yeah, or something
Or
like
is that even... That's not modern Olympics.
I thought boxing
But-
was famously the Marquis of Queensberry.
of Lonsdale. I'm
What should
wondering
we
if
go for?
related
words? Yeah, that seems...
or add words, but probably related
I think
words.
related words, because you
Yeah.
might get the name of
Yeah.
Yeah.
the sports person. We'd like a related words clue, please.
Related words. Clever, Sullivan, corner.
Well, that sounds like
Oh, it
boxing.
sounds
a
like
bit, doesn't it?
boxing.
Corner.
Oh, boxing clever is a phrase.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't know about Sullivan.
Should we...
I think
Sullivan.
It's worth 3 points.
I think we should go for it.
Okay. All right.
Happy with that?
You're the captain.
We'd like to go for boxing, please, John.
For 3 points, let's see if boxing is the correct answer. Boxing. When the Amateur Athletic Club published the rules, they put the Marquis of Queensberry's name to them to add a noble touch. Let's have a look at your related words. The phrase box clever means to behave cleverly. Sullivan, John L. Sullivan, was the first modern boxing heavyweight champion. Corner, the diagonally opposite ends of a boxing ring where contestants rest between rounds are known as corners. Well, congratulations, We Three Kings. It scores you 3 points. We are at the end of round 1. Knowledge is Power are on 2 points, and We Three Kings are still out in front with 9 points. Can Knowledge is Power catch up? Join me after the break to find out. Welcome back to Very Hard Questions, where our teams have safely navigated their way through round 1. Let's get straight on with round 2. In this round, you will tackle your own board of 3 questions. But now you must choose in which order to answer them. But be warned, answer a question incorrectly and your round is instantly over. At any point scored in the round will be lost. You now only have 5 clues to use across the 3 questions. And remember, the more clues you use, the more points you lose. So let's have a look at your clues. Different question and extra fact, both of which you've already seen. Multiple choice. You'll see 4 possible answer options, but only 1 is correct. Audio clue, you'll be played an oral hint to the answer. And redacted text, you'll see a sentence containing the answer, but the key information has been censored. Knowledge is power. Here's your board of 3 questions. Question 1. The tower that UNESCO describe as the only fully preserved Roman lighthouse still used for maritime signalling is named after which mythological character? Question 2. When used in food, which substance with the code E174 is sometimes known as vark, a name that may derive from a Sanskrit word meaning cloak or cloth? Question 3. In 1959, which country passed legislation enabling a person to be married posthumously? Which question would you like to tackle first?
We'll take question 2, please, John.
Question 2. When used in food, which substance with the code E174 is sometimes known as vark, a name that may derive from a Sanskrit word meaning cloak or cloth?
Multiple choice, shall we?
Would like to take the multiple choice clue, please, John.
Multiple choice. Silver, aluminium,
Wow.
gold, indigo.
So it's also from the Sanskrit word meaning cloak or cloth. Is that more likely to be indigo?
Indigo.
I'm thinking indigo.
We've got it, yeah.
I'm thinking indigo.
Can't
but
be
it's
two
It's impossible.
It's a gut feel more
Yeah.
than
I wouldn't
anything.
have said silver or gold.
I wouldn't have said silver or gold.
No, I wouldn't either. I've got with indigo.
Now, just have to be mindful that in this round, answer
get it wrong.
incorrectly, and that's the end of the round for
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Yes.
We could take an extra fact or, another clue. We think it's going to be indigo, but we need something that will lead us down that route.
With a code.
So we need another clue. But
Well, just one sec. Would you put gold or silver in food?
well, exactly. But we
Yeah,
wouldn't
what
put
would you-
indigo in food either, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Well, you do. You get gold and silver colouring.
Is indigo,
Indigo's a colour as well.
is it a,
It is.
a food
I
additive?
couldn't say you put aluminium in a food.
No.
Yeah.
The other 3 you could.
Extra fact or a different question?
Either. Carry on.
I don't mind either of those.
Extra fact.
Extra fact?
Yeah, go on.
Would like extra fact, please, John.
Extra fact. It's often used to decorate Indian sweets, especially for festivals.
Indigo.
It's indigo.
It's
isn't
indigo.
It?
Has to be.
indigo.
Yeah.
Indigo. Okay with
Yeah,
this?
go on.
Would like to answer indigo, please, John.
If it's incorrect, your round is over. For 2 points, let's see if indigo is the correct answer. Oh dear, incorrect.
I was so sure we were right.
Gold.
The correct answer is silver.
Silver.
Really?
It's known as vark or varak in cookery, where it's often used to decorate sweets in the Indian subcontinent. Let's have a look at the questions you didn't get to answer.
Oh.
The tower that UNESCO describe as the only fully preserved Roman lighthouse still used for maritime signalling is named after which mythological character? Hercules. Would you have had any idea?
None.
None? In 1959, which country passed legislation enabling a person to be married posthumously? What do you think?
I haven't got a clue.
We would have had to have some clues
Not Great
for
Britain,
that.
is it?
France.
Oh my
Really?
goodness.
The legislation was created after a dam burst near the French Riviera. One of the victims was engaged to be married, and his fiancée requested permission from President de Gaulle to marry him posthumously. After months of mass media support and campaigning, he granted consent. So it doesn't sound as if it's a regular activity today, marrying dead people. Knowledge is power. You scored no points in that round. I'm sorry, but that's bad luck. OK, we 3 kings. Here is your board of 3 questions. Question 1. What did Mexican General Santa Anna exhume in 1842 in order to give it a state funeral with military honours? Question 2. Which manufacturing company diversified in 1893 when a salesperson realised a product being given away as an incentive to buy baking powder was more popular than the baking powder itself? And question 3, in 2013, which artist achieved a Guinness World Record for the most words in a hit single for a song that includes over 1,500 words? So what are you going to go for first?
1?
I think 1.
Yep.
1, please.
1. What did Mexican General Santa Anna exhume in 1842 in order to give it a state funeral with military honours?
I wondered if it might be an animal.
Like
Yeah,
a horse or
horse or
something, yeah.
dog, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do we want as a clue? Because clearly we're not going to try and answer it as it is. What do you think about an audio clue?
Would you a clue, possibly?
Sound of an exhumation.
If you use a clue, it'll cost you a point.
I think an audio clue.
Okay, let's try. Let's try an audio clip.
We'd like an audio clue.
Don't live dangerously and have an audio clue.
Is that Rod Stewart? I feel like we should know that as well.
It's worth 3 points.
Well,
I think we should use another clue.
Can you use another clue, but you might run out later.
Extra fact?
yeah. Most
Yeah.
We'd like an extra fact, please.
Extra fact. This part of the body includes muscles called abductor longus and flexor digitorum longus.
Oh.
That's the hand, isn't it?
I would have said so. I mean, digitorum is going to be of the finger, right?
Yeah.
The hand or the arm? Maybe it was the hand that fired a gun that won.
Yeah.
It's worth 2 points. You just need to be mindful that if you answer incorrectly, your round is over and
be
you
on.
have no points. Which is
on.
unfortunately the fate that befell your opponents.
I mean, should we go multiple?
I think we should go multiple choice. We'd like a multiple choice clue, please.
Multiple choice. Nose, arm, ear, leg.
I think.
Arm.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
impossible. It's leg, actually.
Digit.
Digits are also checked.
Worth 1 point.
Adductor. I'm just wondering if that is in the leg.
Personally, I think I would just go for it. But
But which one, though?
Well, quite.
Well, then, if you don't know,
I
then
think
don't
the leg,
guess.
actually.
I think this is all the 3 questions.
We would like to answer leg.
Leg. If it's incorrect, your round is over. Okay, for 1 point, let's see if leg is the correct answer. Leg. Well. Extraordinary. That was an extraordinary moment.
Just because we got it right doesn't mean you made the right decision.
He lost the leg in 1838 while fighting the French and had initially buried it at his hacienda before disinterring it for the grand ceremony. The song you heard is Hot Legs by Rod Stewart. You were right on that, and it scores you 1 point. Which question would you like to take next?
I imagine we're all agreed on 2.
Yeah, I think too.
The second one, please.
Question 2. Which manufacturing company diversified in 1893 when a salesperson realized a product being given away as an incentive to buy baking powder was more popular than the baking powder itself?
Maybe it's baking equipment. So
Oh, like Tupperware.
yeah, I think we're going to need a clue anyway. So,
Yes.
Different question.
Manufacturing company.
Yeah, a different question might be.
Yeah.
Could we have a different question, please?
Different question. Until 2012, the headquarters of which company was in a landmark building at 400 to 410 North Michigan Avenue, Chicago?
Not that helpful.
No,
Doesn't help me.
No.
I think we've got to go with the other clue.
I think let's go for redacted text.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'd like the redacted text clue, please.
Redacted text. I'd like to get to the last game of the World Series at blank field and hit 3 homers. That was what I always wanted to do. Ernie Banks.
I'm thinking we're
That was your
gonna
final
probably
clue.
pass unless you think of something.
I think I
We're
remember
going to pass this and pass the
Hearing.
next question.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
baseball
But it's
stadium that is named after a brand. I just can't remember what it is.
Answer incorrectly and you'll lose that point.
I think we're going to pass, aren't we? Yeah. We'd like
Yeah.
to pass, please.
Pass. Any idea what the answer might be now that the pressure's off?
General Mills.
The answer is Wrigley.
Wrigley. Oh,
Wrigley
Joe.
Field.
Wrigley is one of the world's leading chewing gum manufacturers, which they originally gave away with baking powder. Bad luck, no points there. So now let's look at your final question. In 2013, which artist achieved a Guinness World Record for the most words in a hit single for a song that includes over 1,500 words?
2013.
I would guess it's rap, like very fast
yeah.
rap.
Could be, yeah.
But
You have no clues, and it looks a little as if you have no clue.
yes.
I can't think of anyone.
Pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Pass.
Okay, well, the pressure's off. This is your great moment.
Really?
We know nothing about rappers.
Okay.
Eminem.
Carol, who have you got?
Eminem. That was the only one I could think of.
Eminem is the correct answer.
What a guess.
The song is titled Rap God. We Three Kings, you scored 1 point out of a possible 12. That's the end of round 2, with both teams struggling to score. Knowledge is power on 2 points, and We Three Kings are still in the lead with 10 points. But there's plenty of time to catch up in round 3. See how they do after the break. Welcome back to Very Hard Questions, where our teams have been competing for the points they need to secure a top 2 spot on the leaderboard. In round 3, each team will face 5 very hard questions. But now every one of them will be against the clock. Give a wrong answer or run out of time, you score nothing. If everyone is ready, let's play. Round 3. Knowledge is power. Here's your first very hard question against the clock. In the 1960s, which performer received the first Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award?
Picture clue. Picture
Picture
clue.
clue, please, John.
Picture clue coming up.
Looks like Matthew Perry.
It is Matthew Perry.
No, come
Can't be him. Extra fact.
Extra fact.
please, John.
Title of this person's 1953 memoirs, Call Me Lucky.
I don't know. Definition. Definition.
Definition, please, John.
Definition. Performer born in 1903 who plays C.K. Dexter Haven in the 1956 musical film High Society.
Frank Sinatra. Buzz. Buzz.
Frank Sinatra.
For 1 point, is Frank Sinatra the correct answer?
It's too early. It's been
Incorrect. Any idea, Three Kings?
We both recognise Matthew Perry, who plays Chandler Bing, so we wondered if it was Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby.
That is the correct answer. The award was originally called the Bing Crosby Award and was renamed the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1982. Bad luck, so no points then. We Three Kings, here's your first very hard question against the clock. Which literary character first appeared in a letter written to 5-year-old Noel Moore almost a decade before they first appeared in print?
I think that could be lots of things, so I think let's get different question, maybe?
Different question.
Different question, please.
Different question. Which children's character was named after a pet with the second name Piper that was owned by the author?
Maybe Peter Pan. Peter Piper might be the name of the pet. Peter Pan? We wanted to be more risky this round.
Yeah, go.
Could be.
Go.
Yep.
We think it might be Peter Pan.
For 3 points, is Peter Pan the correct answer? I'm sorry, Peter Rabbit. Beatrix Potter's pet rabbit, Peter Piper, was the model for Peter Rabbit. Bad luck, We Three Kings. You score no points there, I'm afraid. Knowledge is power. Here's your second very hard question against the clock. Which thinker lends their name to a set of mountains bounded on the northwest by Crane Glacier on the Antarctic Peninsula, honouring the fact that they predicted the existence of the continent before its first recorded sighting?
Related words.
Related words, please, John.
Related words. Logic, Lyceum, Urchin.
Different question.
Yes.
Different question, please, John.
Different question. What was the first name of the businessman who established Olympic Airways in 1957 and married Jacqueline Kennedy in 1968?
It was Onassis. It was Aristotle Onassis.
Definition then.
Aristotle, John.
For 2 points, is Aristotle the right answer?
Yeah.
Aristotle, well done indeed.
Doubled our score.
Very good, very good. He posited that since there was an Arctic, it must be balanced on the other side of the globe by an Antarctic. Let's look at your related words. Logic, Aristotle is often seen as the founder of formal logic. Lyceum, he founded a school of philosophy at the Lyceum Gymnasium near Athens. Urchin, the jaw apparatus of sea urchins is known as Aristotle's lantern. He describes its structure in a natural science textbook. Excellent. Congratulations, and it has secured you 2 points. We Three Kings, here's your second very hard question against the clock. The primary function of the pineal gland is the production of which hormone?
Definition.
Yeah? Or first letter?
First letter.
First letter.
There could be quite a few things.
OK, definition, please.
Definition. Regulatory hormone that is available as an over-the-counter supplement in some countries.
First letter.
Yeah. First letter, please.
First letter, M.
We should know this.
Yeah. Different question.
Yeah,
Quick,
different
then,
question, please.
Different question. Which hormone helps regulate the...
Melatonin.
Yes.
Melatonin.
For 1 point, is melatonin the correct answer? Melatonin. The pineal gland is in the brain and about the size of a pea. It's light sensitive and helps the body clock to function. Congratulations, it scored you 1 point. Knowledge is power. Here's your third very hard question against the clock. In 1919, 21 people were killed in Boston, Massachusetts after a huge storage tank containing what foodstuff burst?
I don't know.
Different question. Just go through them.
Add words, please, John.
Add words. Sweet.
Sweet food stuff. Sugar. Sugar.
That
Something
could be
else?
molasses.
Extra fact.
Extra
Extra fact, please, John.
Extra fact. Along with the better-known levy on tea, a tax on this product is considered to have been a cause of the American Revolution.
Have we got anything else?
Different question, please, John.
Different question. Which foodstuff, the name of which derives from the Latin for honey, is commonly used in animal feed?
Molasses.
Molasses, please, John.
For 1 point, is molasses the correct answer? Molasses.
Oh, no.
You're coming good, but you've left it a bit late in the game. It has scored you 1 point. We Three Kings, here's your third very hard question against the clock. A painting of people in a restaurant sold for nearly $92 million in 2018, a new record at auction for a work by which artist?
I think it could be Edward Hopper. There's a very famous painting of him
Yeah.
with people.
Is that the Night Owls?
Night Owls, yeah.
Yeah. But there's
But
also
it's-
like
yeah.
Renoir with like
Okay.
extra
Do
fact,
one
different
clue
question.
And then go for it.
Yeah, which though? Different question? That would distinguish between extra fact. Different question, please.
Different question. The artist Josephine Niverson was the primary model for which painter whom she married in 1924?
Would that be the right time for Edward Hopper?
I'm not really sure. It feels a bit early.
I'm going to get an extra clue. Extra fact, please.
Extra fact.
I mean, Hopper.
Yeah.
This person's painting House by the Railroad is part...
Edward Hopper.
For 2 points, is Edward Hopper the correct answer? Edward Hopper.
I should have done it. Sorry.
The painting is titled Chop Suey, and part of a sign with those words on is very prominent in the painting. And it scored you 2 points. Knowledge is power. Here is your fourth very hard question against the clock. What's mine is yours, and what is yours is mine is one of the closing lines in which Shakespeare play?
Extra fact, quick.
Extra fact, please, John.
Extra fact. The plot was influenced by Promos and Cassandra, a play by George Whetstone.
Add words.
Add words, please, John.
Add words. Spoken by the character Vicentio.
Picture clue.
Picture clue, please, John.
Picture clue.
Ruler. Rulers.
Julius
Rulers.
Ruler, Julius Caesar.
Spanish, yeah.
Hamlet was a ruler. Yeah. So which one we got? Julius Caesar was a
Watch the
ruler.
time.
I know.
Yeah, I watched time.
Pick one. Julius.
Caesar.
Julius Caesar, please, John.
For 1 point, is Julius Caesar the correct answer? Incorrect. We Three Kings, your rulers, aren't you?
Measure for measure, maybe?
That is the correct answer, but alas, you don't get any points. We Three Kings, here's your fourth very hard question against the clock. The name of which Canadian provincial capital means muddy water in the language of the Cree people?
Manitoba?
I
Okay.
think we did clues.
Picture clue? Different question?
Yeah, picture clue.
Different question. I think pictures.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
it will help.
Different question, please.
Different question. The Jets are an NHL ice hockey team based in which Canadian city?
It's not Toronto.
Montreal.
Oh, maybe it is.
It could be Toronto. Toronto Jets does ring a bell.
First letter? First letter, please.
First letter. W.
What's the West Coast? Winnipeg. Yeah, it could be Winnipeg. Yeah.
Winnipeg?
For 2 points, is Winnipeg the correct answer? Winnipeg. The name of the city was taken from that of Lake Winnipeg and derived from the Cree Indian words Win-Nipi. Congratulations, Winnipeg scores 2 points. Knowledge is power. Here's your final very hard question against the clock. In 2006, a pair of what animals was saved when the world's tallest man at the time used his metre-long arms to reach in and remove hazardous plastic from their stomachs?
Add words.
Related words, please, John.
Related words. Mirror swine, Cetacea grampus.
The dolphins or whales. Cetaceans or dolphins or whales.
Add words then.
Add words.
Add words, please, John.
Add words. In 2006, a pair of what aquatic animals were saved?
Different question. Different question, please, John.
Different question. From 1350 to 1830, the title assumed by the heir apparent to the French throne literally translates as which...
Dolphins.
For 1 point, is dolphin the correct answer? Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Well done. Related words, meerswine. Meerswine is an old name for a dolphin. Cetacea is the taxonomic order that includes dolphins, whales, and porpoises. Grampus, there is a type of dolphin named the grampus. Very good. And it scored 1 point. We Three Kings, here's your final, very hard question against the clock. Which actor released 2 studio albums in the 2010s based on the life of Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne?
Different question.
Different question, please.
Different question. Which actor was a step-cousin of Ian Fleming and was reputedly asked by the author if he would like to play the title role in the Bond film Dr. No?
Anything? I think we're going extra fact.
Extra fact, yeah.
Extra fact, please.
Extra fact. In 2012, at the age of 91, this actor became the oldest living person to enter the Billboard Hot 100 chart with the single Jingle Hell.
First letter, please.
First letter, C.
Clint Eastwood.
Charles Dance. I think that's wrong.
Charles Wilson.
Charlton Heston, please.
For 1 point, is Charlton Heston the correct answer? Incorrect, I'm afraid.
Well,
Correct answer, Christopher Lee.
Oh,
Bad luck. That scores no points. That's the end of round 3, so let's have a look at the scores. Knowledge is Power have 6 points, and We Three Kings are in the lead with 15 points. You now have one last chance to win some all-important points. Need I remind you, only the 2 highest scoring teams from the entire series will contest the grand final and battle it out for £5,000 and the series champion trophy. Let's play the very hardest question. Now you'll play on the buzzer against each other and only one team can walk away with the points. I will reveal a question. If you think you know the answer, buzz in, answer correctly and win yourself 8 points. I will continue revealing clues until someone answers the question correctly, but the points on offer will reduce each time a clue is revealed. Answer incorrectly and your team will be locked out for the remainder of the clues. Fingers on buzzers, here is the very hardest question. Cast members of which 1950s film received Oscar nominations in all 4 acting categories, though none went on to win?
Can we just 1950s?
Starring man, a starring woman. It's got to happen.
Can anyone answer for 8 points?
No.
It's got to be.
No.
Well, most of them.
First up is an extra fact.
I went to win, did it?
Franz Waxman won an Academy Award for composing the score of the film.
I don't
Famous
know.
for its music.
It's not time.
Can anyone answer for 7 points?
Yeah, let's do that one.
60s.
It's about brief encounter. Starring man,
Don't know.
woman. Maybe a bit.
I know the name.
Your next clue is add words. Cast members of which 1950s film, directed by Billy Wilder, received Oscar nominations in all 4 acting categories, though none went on to win? Josh.
it's a bit of a guess. Some Like It Hot.
So for 6 points, is Some Like It Hot the correct answer? I'm
give it a
sorry,
go.
that is incorrect. Knowledge is power. Here comes a different question. Which stage musical composed by Andrew Lloyd Webber won the 1995 Tony Award for Best Musical?
95. 95.
Can anyone answer for 5 points?
is it Phantom?
Try it, go
No,
on.
no, not 95. No,
No.
no, back, go back.
Your next clue is redacted text. Blank opened in August 1950 and it was pronounced the best movie ever made about Hollywood. Gloria Swanson.
About Hollywood. Sunset
Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard.
Let's see if Sunset Boulevard is the correct answer for 4 points. Sunset Boulevard. What a finish! Gloria Swanson was nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role, William Holden for Best Actor in a Leading Role, Erich von Stroheim for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and Nancy Olsen Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Very good. 4 points. Well, did you see the film? Is that why you were well versed in it?
I absolutely knew the film. That,
You did?
Yeah, I did. It was the film, yeah.
Very good. Well, it was a startlingly good end to a, well, slightly up and down evening. Here are the final scores. In second place, with a score of 10, we have Knowledge is Power. But today's winners, with a score of 15, it's We Three Kings.
Well done, guys.
So let's see where those scores have put you on the leaderboard. A valiant effort by Knowledge is Power and We Three Kings, but alas, they can't qualify for the final. No one's been able to shift Einstein's and winning formula from those top 2 spots, and they are now within touching distance of a place in the final. So those scores aren't enough to get them into the top 2, but you've been absolutely terrific. I mean, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it was worth coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
Thank you.
Good, good, good. Join me next time when another bunch of very clever people attempt to answer some more very hard questions. And finally, I leave you with this very hard question. How is it that fat chance and slim chance mean the same thing? Goodbye.